Good morning, everybody. Great to see you. Let's pray. Lord, these are incredible times in which we live, and we have the digital ID rollout coming up, and we ask for courage for each one of us to stand up. Pray for everybody listening on YouTube or whatever they're watching it on, Facebook, that people will unitedly have the courage to stand against it so it will not go through. We ask you this in Jesus' name. So be it. That's one that we really need to, so be it. Thanks everyone for the donations you gave last week. We'll get as much advertising out for the next rally as much as we can with the money that we received. And don't forget, we're now on TikTok, Rumble, YouTube and Facebook. The reels are really going well. People are interested in the shorter videos, which is fine. November the 30th will be our next get-together. It may be a march, it may be a raise the flag, it may... we're just not sure of the details yet, but it will be our next big march, and it will be on freedom of speech, but it will mostly be emphasising the dangers of the digital ID. People have no idea. They have no idea. So we have to educate people as much as we possibly can. We support March for Australia and Mackay Freedom. That last weekend was their march. This one on November the 30th isn't. So we don't necessarily align with the people who are organising this. We're taking advantage of a date that everybody knows. So that will be our march, our Mackay march, on the issues that are really deadly, and I mean deadly. As long as the people of Mackay want to make a stand, then we need to facilitate that. We have to support that in every way we can. We're obviously the go-to for Mackay, and we support the people. Right, we can evidence everything we're saying, so don't believe me, never believe me, do your own research. It's stupid to just go and believe somebody. Do your own research, find out for yourself that what's coming is absolutely phenomenally evil. So why is the digital ID so dangerous? And I got a lot of this information from Citizen Go, Nation First. George Christensen is doing a brilliant job of putting this out there. So if you're not fully aware of what this digital ID means, I ask you please to listen. I've never said that before, ever. Please listen, because this is unbelievable. What is the government's greatest fear? What's the government's greatest fear? Us. People who know what's going on, and informed people. That's their greatest fear, and we have got to inform people of the dangers of the digital ID. So much. Your superannuation does not belong to us. The government has taken our title deeds. Already, people should be learning what does not belong to them anymore. So the only thing you can get from a bank is a digital statement. You'll never get a title deed because the government took them all. So listen and find out what is no longer yours and what will not be yours if you get yourself a digital ID. The digital ID is more dangerous than any of the COVID restrictions, lockdowns. It's far more dangerous. They ended. The digital ID won't, and you cannot opt out. So COVID was a trial run to this, and so from December 10, 25, which is not far away, then anyone under 16 is banned from social media platforms. So this is being wrapped up in a blanket, supposedly to keep our kids safe. It's an absolute lie. It's supposedly protecting them from the harmful content of the internet under the Online Safety Amendment Act of 2024. But what it is delivering is total control of the government over every single area of your life. So 2 weeks after this gets kicked in, the plan is the online safety code will extend to verification of search engines like Google and Bing, researching on the internet, and you may not even have access to Google Maps if you do not have a digital ID. It's mandatory, it's also voluntary, but we know how that worked out with the jab, don't we? You know, if you get a digital ID, then you can't go to work. Okay, stand up, stand up. It's biometric data collection, face, fingerprints, voice. Every single detail of yours will be in one place. We know people get their bank accounts hacked. We know that a lot of people have been getting their Centrelink accounts hacked. Well, this time, when people hack anything in your account, they've got access to everything. Your location, your movements, your banking, what you spend your money on, your health, just everything. And there's no guarantee of safety. Obviously no guarantee of safety because so much is being hacked at the moment. It'll include behavioural profiling through device and social history tracking. You know, nothing is going to be private. Nothing will be private. And we already know that free speech is gone. There are a lot of people already in Australia either incarcerated or being prosecuted at this time for giving an opinion that the government doesn't want them to give. And there is no opting out. Okay, so I will get Anne to put on the video a link to an address by Alex Antic where he actually talks about the digital ID. Again, don't take my word for it, look it up yourself. And we'll give the video link along the bottom of the screen, I suspect. So let's look at Vietnam, who's already rolled it out. I've known this I've heard it for a couple of weeks, but I never said anything because I won't say anything I can't evidence. So they rolled out the digital ID and 86 million bank accounts were frozen of people who did not get the digital ID. You think they won't do it here? Of course they will. Of course they will. Australia seems to be one of the worst in the world at the moment, and so they will do it here. So we need to be aware that we all make a stand, the tough times will pass. If we don't make a stand, it's the end. The tough times will never pass. Your children and your grandchildren will live a life of hell. So we need to stand up. Millions of citizens in Vietnam were financially erased in an instant, just like that. So their crime was choosing privacy over what the government expected them to do. At this point, their accounts are still locked out. Now, I've been hearing it for 2 weeks. So they've been locked out for at least that long, and at this stage there is no sign of their accounts being opened again to them, unless they comply and get a digital ID. Don't stop listening, please don't stop listening, because we're about to hear a horror story. Okay, we've all heard, or well, I think most of us have heard that MyGov accounts have been hacked many times. I watched an interview Michael Gray Griffiths gave, and from a young man. This is unbelievable, and this is what we'll be facing, except that they won't just get into your MyGov, they'll get into everything if you have a digital ID. So Centrelink actually called this young man to inform him that his account was being hacked. It was their second attempt, and on their second attempt, they actually succeeded in getting into it. He was given a code, a 2-tier security code, and on the second one, they got through that as well. They set up a new pass key. So he was unable to access his MyGov account. They removed his bank details, they put their bank details in and asked for an advance payment, which they got. You can get that apparently through Centrelink. They then got into his ATO, and now he has to deactivate his tax file number. Who knows how long it will take? But actually, I had more information on that. If you have to deactivate your tax file number, you never get one that's just permanently yours. You have to keep getting a code. You just have to keep getting a code every, I don't know how often, but you don't just get a new tax file number and everything's as it was. It doesn't happen. Okay, then they got logged out. How long do you reckon this took from beginning to end? How long do you reckon it took? Have a guess.
3 minutes.
3 months.
3 months?
3 minutes.
Oh, the three's right. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Michael Gray Griffiths said this is not the work of a human. This is AI. Think about it. Who could do that in 3 minutes? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, if our government can't keep their MyGov account safe, how are they going to keep all the information in a digital ID safe? They can't. They simply can't. The digital ID is the glue to connecting every single database. Every single one. Finance, health, property, communications, location, where you go, into one centralised identity platform. So, yes, you don't have to have a MyGov account. You can close it. You can close it. So what can we do? We can stand against it. If everyone stands, or most people stand, the government will have to do what I think it's the Netherlands and I think Spain, don't quote me on that, but 2 governments have actually gone back on their digital ID because of the public pushback. People power works. People power works. Prepare for a short time. Prepare to be without for a short time. I know when my dad was in the desert in World War II, he was given a pint of water every 24 hours, and that was for washing. That's about a litre. And that was for washing and for drinking. You know, they went without. We don't think we have to because there's shops down the road. We go home to a comfy bed, we've got a full belly, a roof over our heads. We don't think we have to prepare. We do. Right now, we do have to prepare to be without in order to crush the digital ID. So what can we do? You can sign the petition. Every single person needs to sign that petition. We also need to have I've heard this before, but I didn't think it would come to the stage where I would have to say it publicly. You need to have a supply of water and a certain supply of food. Not forever, because if the people stand, it's not going to last. But you do need to be prepared. So have some water, have food, make alternative arrangements to keep in touch with family, because you may have no access to the internet. Tell them what's happening, wake them up and give them alternative arrangements. And I know a lot of people are going back to the old Nokia phone and off the net. I'm thinking I might have to do that myself very soon. So let's look at this. You've been told, and we're going to give more details about it next week. You cannot unknow what you've been told. You cannot unhear it, and you cannot unsee it. The truth will set you free. And that's true. It doesn't just set you free, it makes you unmanageable. And that's what we have to be. We have to be unmanageable by the government. And I finish with what I always say. Coercion is not consent. The government does not rule by force. It rules because people comply. This is one we, all of us, must not comply with, and this is why it's going to be a big issue on our November 30th event here. My goodness, stand together, stand together. We can't be, I know it's from the end of the American National Anthem, but it's an absolutely magic statement. We cannot be the land of the free unless we are the home of the brave. Our forefathers did not go to war and suffer for this. They went to war so we could be free. They suffered. Their suffering was unimaginable to us. Well, guess what? We're still very comfortable and we can prepare, but we still must be brave and stand up. So what can I do? So 27 million Australians, what can we do? We can stand up, don't comply, don't get the digital ID, and that's another step toward freedom, a major one. Thank you, everybody.